Hello and welcome to Roach Music Services. My name is Jack Roach, founder of Roach Music Services, or RMS for short. And today in this little video I'm going to give you a quick introduction as to who I am, what the website and what the other connecting websites offer, and what services I offer for you for any musical endeavours that you may have. So without further ado, let me get straight into it. Who am I? Well, my name is Jack. I can say I've been playing guitar since I've been about 6 years old. I'm 26 now, so it's been a while. And I've been to university, been to college, and I'm currently finishing off a Masters. And I have been in the music industry for a while. I've played multiple gigs and across multiple genres, primarily on the guitar, but also on the bass as well. And over time I've learnt different styles, different genres, met different people, and I've kind of come to realise that I enjoy playing multiple things, not just the one thing. So I thought, well, why don't I offer myself as a service to you? So, with all that in mind, why do I want to offer myself as a service? Well, I've always thought to myself, why limit yourself, especially in music? There is so much music to learn. There are so many different styles and genres, each with their nuances, that I thought, why not kind of give myself the opportunity to learn from other people and other styles, hence why this website was created. So I started playing guitar listening to the greats, Slash, Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, etc., all the guitar gods. And then I listened to bands like Slash, Foo Fighters, Red Hot Chili Peppers and whatnot, and I did that for a while when I was young. And then I eventually grew to kind of start to like hip hop and like R&B and that sort of style, and then eventually it kind of evolved into this where I am at the moment with jazz, listening to bands such as Snarky Puppy, Wolfpack, Jacob Collier, Lewis Cole, Noah. There's quite a, just to name a few, there's quite a lot out there, and I fall in love with it due to its technicality and the way how you can bring other genres into it. So that's me in general. My styles range from rock to hip hop to jazz, and I kind of say I've got a good understanding of all because I spent a lot of time on each individual one. So what services do I provide? Well, as you can see on the website here, it's probably a bit small actually, but if you click on the website via the link in the description, you'll see that I offer a session musician, band work, studio recordings, music tuition, and a solo artist. So what do all those things, what do I do with those things individually? That's different for everyone else. I'll go over each individual service piece by piece just in a few minutes. But the reason why I offer these is because I feel these are my most confident areas. I have done these aspects of music for many years. I have been in the studio multiple times. I've played in bands, played gigs, been depping for people. I've taught. I'm currently a teacher as well. So these sort of things I feel are my strongest points. But yeah, so let me just quickly go over each individual one, kind of give a bit more of an idea as to what I can bring to you. So a session musician, what does that entail, what does that do, and what can I bring to you? So as a session musician, I will show up to one of your gigs. I will play stuff that you've already pre-rehearsed. Say for example your bassist and your guitarist drops out. I can show up on the night. I can show up early in the week to work on stuff with you, originals, covers, that sort of stuff. Essentially it's a backup plan in case your dedicated band member isn't there, or if you were perhaps a singer who wanted to bring your ideas to life, who had idea of chord charts and that sort of stuff, but you didn't have a band. That way you can essentially hire people to play that gig for you for that one night, or to kind of for a couple of nights, just so you can kind of get an idea of how it will sound as a full band. And for say like the styles and genres and stuff that I mentioned earlier, those are my strongest, but it's not to say that I'm not willing to try stuff such as pop or funk or any other style or genre that you may potentially have or are an expert in. But a session musician essentially is a guy who shows up for one time or maybe a couple of times to play a gig if there's no one available to play. So next up is band work. It's essentially similar to a session musician, except I'll be more of a dedicated member of the team. For example, do you want to get up on stage and play originals or covers, or do you want to just make a wedding band, for example? I will be willing to join you on that journey and help you write stuff and rehearse stuff and essentially be a dedicated member of your band. Obviously, for the sake of how many bands I could get into and how dedicated the project I want to be, I wouldn't want to do a half-done job. To be offering myself as a band member will be probably a limited service, depending on whether or not how much room I can fit in. But to be a band member, essentially is the same as a session musician, except we will be working together fully, keeping in good contact, working together, probably rehearsing once or twice a week, organising gigs, set up stuff like merch, the whole thing to really try and get ourselves into the music industry as much as possible. And if you're looking for a guitarist or a bassist, this is where I can hopefully offer my service to you. Following on, we've got the studio recordings. These are same again, kind of similar to a session musician, whereas I'll show up once or twice or maybe be part of a band, but the only difference is that we'll be recording. This is when we'll go into a studio. Obviously it all depends on where we're going and where we're recording. If you have one at your home yourself, or because we're in a modern day, I can record files such as Ableton, which you can see here on my screen. I can send files over to you and send them over to you with recording, with all my equipment. And the equipment is the thing that I will mention in briefly. I might do a full rig rundown in a future video just to kind of give you an idea of what I have and what I've got available to you. But I'll mention that briefly at the end, and then I'll do a full video on that later. But yeah, for a studio musician, I will show up for how many studio sessions you want. I'll play guitar, I'll play bass, or I'll send you some files over, and I'll hopefully make the song that you've been working on a high quality recorded piece of media, which you can then put onto Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you're SoundCloud, wherever you're feeling, and hopefully start getting your music out there. Next up, we got music tuition, a personal favourite of mine. I've been a guitar tutor now for ages, post and pre-COVID. It's one of the areas I'm more, I would say, skilled in. I'm currently teaching for my friend Jason, who owns his own business, Gumley's Music School. I'll put a link in the description down below. And we're based in Birmingham, West Midlands, Shirley, Solihull sort of area. If you want to go through that, you can find myself and you'll find more details. We're all DBS checked, the entire thing is great, and we've got great studio facilities. And if you don't want to learn guitar or bass or music theory, which are the three things I offer, you can look at learning piano and drums and such through them. Or if you don't want to go through that website and you want to just go to me directly, or you don't want to travel to that area, if you contact me through my own website of RMS, I will be willing to travel to you to teach you guitar and bass and music theory. So with guitar, I teach every level and age and genre and style. If you're a complete beginner, brand new, bare bones, I will teach you everything you need to get yourself started. Or if you're, for example, a guitarist who's been playing for a while but you want to progress yourself, analysing music, or if you want to brush up on your music theory, I'm very happy to do that too. And last but by no means least, we have the solo artist. So, what does that include? Well, past 2019, I have been considering myself as a solo multi-instrumental looping artist. I know, quite a mouthful. So, how did I get into it? Well, it all started when I was trying to find ways to utilise these new skills and stuff that I was learning through jazz and other genres. And as I delved further into music theory, I tried to use them in session work and band work, but I wanted to see what I could do with them when I really fully pushed their limits. So I bought myself a looper, and I would see what chords worked together, what notes would work on top of them, and such and so forth. And eventually it got to a point where I made compositions. I've performed them in front of some people. I've worked on them since 2019. I started to kind of really build a repertoire, and people would describe it as quite chilled, quite relaxed music, background music, for example. So it would be the sort of stuff you'd hear in a microbrewery or a cafe or a bar on a Sunday night. So if you own any of these venues, or you know someone who does, you can hire me to play there to bring a bit of an atmosphere on your quiet days. And if you want to hear what sort of music that I play, you'll actually be glad to know that you'll be hearing it right now in the background of this video. So that's now all the services that I offer, but what's there left to talk about? Of course, there's always money involved somewhere. So let's talk about the rates. Well, I'm currently following the MU, or the Musicians Union's rates, but of course there is always room for fluctuation. I understand I'm a starting up business, and with that I am willing to give a bit of a discount, a bit of a cut, or to increase or decrease prices depending on stuff such as travel, equipment used, and time of and length of time of the duration of the session. So all the rates and all the prices and the costs can be found on the MU as kind of a rough guideline, but the most accurate way of finding out is by sending me a message via Instagram, via commenting on this video, or by using my email that is stated in the website, which is roachmusic96@gmail.com. I also put that in the description of this video. So email me, get to know me, talk about what sort of stuff you want me to be hired to work with, and hopefully from there we can work out a reasonable rate that is comfortable for both of us. And alongside the money, let's hope we start a good relationship and hope we help each other on our musical journeys. And finally, we have the equipment. I just want to quickly go over this before I finish off this introductory video, in case you're curious to know what's available to you before you hire my services. So I use a Boss GT1000 multi-effects guitar pedal. It works with guitar and bass, and it has more or less every effect built into it: distortion, octave, wah, flanger, chorus, you name it. And it can range across entire genres. It's incredible how much tone it has, how much options of tone it has, with the ability to fine tune and minute tweak the smallest of details to get exactly that tone you want. And then on top of that too, I use a Headrush looper board. Now I know that's mainly for my solo instrumental stuff, but I'm willing to use this looper with your band work if you wish to have a loop involved. It has drum loops built in. It has the ability to record up to 4 separate layers at a time. It's a flagship piece of equipment, so it's amazing. It has great sound quality. And then on top of that too, I use my trusty guitar, the Fender Meteora from 2019. Dual humbucker pickup configuration with the ability to coil tap or coil split, given the single coil feel. Great guitar, very versatile in the sound. So with that combined with the effects of the GT1000 and any of the effects, for example, if we're in a studio that they have built in, there really is no end to what we can achieve. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe there's everything you need to understand about myself and what I'm willing to offer through Roach Music Services, or RMS. So hopefully with this video you can start to gain a understanding or judgment of whether or not I am the man for the job. And if you want to get to know me more personally, or you want to speak to me and go further details, you can always contact me via the comment section on YouTube, a message on Instagram, or simply through my email address. I'm always willing to open to talk and to discuss what you want to do, where you want to go, and what job you think is right for me. So without further ado, I hope to hear from you all soon. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.